Well, I just got dropped off back at the trailhead of Smith Gap, I believe the name of this road was. Anyway, by the mechanical man's wife. And she brought me up this morning on the way to work. It's Thursday the 5th, about 10 to 7. And with luck, I'm going to be at Delaware Gap tonight. Delaware Water Gap, I should say. I got about 15 miles to go. There's not going to be any water, or very little if there is any. And but I got my 3 bottles, and it's kind of, as you can see, it's overcast, misty, foggy, but it's warm. It's already feels like temperature's creeping up. Humidity definitely. Supposed to be up to the 80s today, with a chance of rain coming in later tonight, not until about 8 or so. And by that time I should be set up at a hostel that is run by the church. So that'll be another, should be a fairly quiet one, and also probably no alcohol in that, and that's fine, because that'll keep the partying down. So had a good sleep last night. The host was actually really nice, and I'll go into that. I just crossed the highway that takes me into Wind Gap. Not going in like I originally planned, since I spent the night last night at a jury-rigged hostel type setup. The mileage on here that's important to me is the 910 miles to Katahdin. None of these others I'll be stopping at, though Kirk Ridge Shelter might have water for me. Alright. Delaware River, people. I am just about maybe a mile and a half from Delaware Water Gap, where I'm spending the night. Possibly 2 nights. Thinking of taking a 0 day because the rains are supposed to come in tonight and go all day tomorrow. So if I take a 0 day, I can rest up, stay out of the rain, and give myself a chance to recuperate from the constant 24 mile days I keep pushing. Feet are really getting tired. Been pushing a lot of hard days for this. So basically I'm going to be spending a little bit more time in Philadelphia, but I'm right on the edge, as close to leaving the state as I can possibly get without actually leaving. Okay, folks, this is the wrap-up for July 6th and 5th, day 88 and 89. Basically what happened here was I ended up in Delaware Water Gap, and once I got there, I decided it was going to be a time for a Nero and a zero. And so I got to Delaware Water Gap, and then after that I hooked up with the hostel run by the church and got there in time to get showered up, and then I got to a free hiker feast put on by the church, so I got to be all I can eat of everything possible, and it was delicious. Barbecued hot dogs and all sorts of different salads and baked beans, and oh gosh, there was tons of different food and a bunch of desserts, lots of fruit, that sort of thing. So it was really good to get some real food in me again. So since I was taking a zero the next day on the 6th, me and a couple other hikers, one goes by Yoti, and the other one is oh god, I knew I'd forget that name as soon as Bluegrass, and Bluegrass she's from Kentucky, and Yoti's from New Hampshire, so we kind of spread ourselves out from where we come from in our little threesome. But we decided after dinner we'd go out and have a few drinks and listen to some jazz music, and that's what you got recorded there. A little clip there was some of the jazz we listened to. It was really nice having a couple of drinks and kicking back and relaxing, knowing that we didn't have to get up in the morning and jump right into things. The following morning we ended up getting a Uber to take us a few miles into a bigger town, because Delaware Water Gap really doesn't have much in the way of resupply and stuff. They just have mini marts and things, and they do have a really good outfitter, but wasn't looking for that kind of food. We were looking for the more of the every breakfast, lunch, and dinner stuff, not just freeze dried. So anyway, once we got into the larger town, which I can't remember the name of it, starts with an S, and we got in there, we took our clothes, all our dirty clothes, literally, we were running around in our rain gear while our clothes were being washed, because that was the nearest laundromat. And we got everything cleaned, ourselves cleaned, and our clothes cleaned, and boy, I'll tell you, it really felt nice getting out of that scuzzy shirt that I've been wearing since I started this trip. And the last few weeks, it hasn't had a decent washing. It just gets rinsed now and then. And so the salt and the sweat in it is just, I mean, it gets just slimy from when it gets wet now. And it's almost that bad. It doesn't take long with the heat we've been having. So anyway, that's pretty much, we just kicked back, relaxed, and didn't do a whole lot. And so that kind of wrapped up day 88 and 89, and we figured we'd, take off and then have a good, feeling good early start. It really was nice on the feet, not being on them constantly and pounding lots of miles. So anyway, that's pretty much what took place over the weekend.